Shalom, shalom, Sister Deborah, prophetess in the wilderness. And you know what? That's all right with me. Coming again on this Deborah platform with another message. And I will say this is a lovely evening in which the Most High Yah has made, and I, Sister Deborah, shall rest therein. It is something to that rest. It is a place in which one can go and trust in, within. You don't have to feel or think that, okay, the issues that is before us and the issues that's taking place. But when you speak of this rest, it is a place for me to lay my head on his bosom and know that I can hear his heartbeat and I can rest therein. And I mean that. That's what I feel when I say, and I shall rest therein. I'm coming with a topic, and it's not going to be very long. It's called, I'm going to label this message. It's not going to be a long message. The humbleness of Yahweh. I was thinking and joking around by laughing and thinking about it at the same time. I was singing praise to the Most High Yah today on my way to the store. And I began to laugh because I thought about his humbleness. And how did I come to really finding time to laugh at his humbleness is because I thought about Noah and the ark and how during that time when it began to rain, okay, and the world was being destroyed, how humble the Most High was at that moment, at that time, within them days, ending everything. Noah and his family, they was the only survivor, and those that they brought into the ark, which is the animals and so on. But just to know that the world ended and the Most High was in a humble state of mind. Just imagine when a people understands, my thing keep popping up with all these pop-ups, understand how 400 years and when they got over here and what took place and how slavery and what they did to their ancestors and so on. Just imagine. Yah was in his humbleness state of mind. Spiritual mind, but yet he was humble. Just think of him being humble in spite of whatever is going on today. He ain't buckling up to none of it. He is humble in the midst therein. While we around doing things that leads to hate, dislike, taking, killing, and all kind of other issues. And he's here with the humble spirit. It's something to really think about it. It's really something to think about, all the issues. But yet, Yah is still humble in the midst of it all. I do know he's been there already. He's seen it before it even got to where it's at today. It was before him yesterday. So it's nothing new to him. It's something shocking. I even think about how a nation of people complained about how they were done in the 400 years and how they were murdered and how they were beaten and how they were treated, even to today. That same cry pour out, or that same cry that you hear is the same cry of yesterday, But we still have a creator, which is our Father in the heavens, which is Yahuwah, he still stand humble. I like how he rumbled. I love how he rumbled. And sometimes I I would desire, because I have children, and then therefore I have issues that even surrounding my children, that I need to at all time be humble and know who he is. And one way that I really embrace his humbleness in such a way that I can really adapt to it in my life is because I know that the things in which he have allowed me to know in the year of 2021 versus millions never being able to reach this level of any understanding. Yes, they have the knowledge, they have the wisdom, they have the understanding of the flesh that has taught them. But I speak of the spirit, that which is spirit and truth. I count it a blessing to have what he has given me. Okay. And I cherish that because he didn't have to. Okay. And it does not make me any better than anyone. It does not say I'm perfect. It doesn't say anything of that. But it does say that no matter what, I'm willing, I am willing and desiring to hang on and hang on to his unchanging hands, because he have throughout my life proven himself to be all that answer to me. You see, so as I was going to my store, I was thinking how humble he is in spite of what's going on, you know. And I thought, well, how can I reach that in which he is? He said, now you know your ways are not my ways, Deborah. You know your thoughts are not my thoughts. Why? I'm flesh. Okay? He's spirit. His thoughts are way above mine and beyond. His ways are way above mine and beyond. Why? Because he is the way to any and everything. His thoughts, it's what you see, what you seen, and so on. You see, it goes way beyond your understanding. So now I'm at that level to where, okay, so where am I in this, Father? What can I hold on to? You know what he told me? You just hold on to that long suffering. It's a spirit. And you hold on to that endurance. You know it's a spirit. That is your humbleness, your hope, is that endurance spirit, that long suffering spirit. So I thank him for that, because he has given us the gift of long suffering and a gift of endurance. Why? Because he can be humble in the midst of it all, but he know you flesh and spirit. So he makes sure he gives you something to uphold you in the spiritual realm. But your spirit cannot uphold your flesh if your flesh is ruling your spirit. So the gift that he gives is for our spirit to be able to tame our flesh with the tools he has given us in our spirit. So we too can be humble in the midst of what we are in the midst of in this day and time and in time past. And I thank him for that. I thank him for being all that he is, all that he was, and all that he's going to be. And through it all, he gave me a gift of endurance. And he gave me a gift of long suffering to help me along the way. So as I was driving, I was laughing because it was funny how the whole world was in by his mighty power, and he still sat high and low, humble. All the time we've been over here for 400 years, this same Yahuwah was humble. All that time he wore for us, he was still yet humble in the midst thereof. Did he use his power? Yes. But even his power has respect for his humbleness. I just really look at that to be something special. I love the way he rumbles that way, because it lets me know that all things is strictly in his power. And if it's in his power, he insists on being humble in the midst of whatever can happen or whatever take place. So he don't just go out, okay, I'm going to destroy this or I'm going to do this because I got the power. He still is humble in the midst of therein. Let me tell you what. I sat back and I heard a few things on YouTube. YouTube can be Instagram, Patriot, Facebook. All of them can be very troubling to your inner man as well as your outer man. Okay? And without the long-suffering spirit and the endurance spirit, Sister Deborah wouldn't be able to have any frame of mind, because my study comes from, and way I studied with him in the spirit, it reveals things to me. Okay, and it shows things to be of that which was and that which shall be very clear. So therefore I look at it and I be like, oh wow, this is gonna be what it is. But that endurance spirit and that long-suffering spirit is there to help me along the way. So while I'm laughing at his humbleness, he's giving me something to be just as humble in the midst or in the walk of this flesh and this spirit that's in one vessel. I have a spirit in this flesh. You see? So the things that I can embrace in the spirit, a lot of it you can't embrace in the flesh. And the things that I can accept in the spirit, I can't accept it in the flesh. So he gives me long suffering and he gives me endurance, which is both are spirits. And I thank him for that. So I'm laughing at him because I like how he rumbles, how he upholds this humbleness. I mean, to be just that humble in the midst of no matter what's going on. You know, I wanted to share with my son, which I'm going to share that with him. What is it like? What would he feel if he had 5 sons and he raised them? And once he have took care of them, sent them to college, sent them on their way, they married, then they out. Everything that they do is the opposite of the way they were raised. The opposite of who he is, or who he was, and he still is. They've come up doing the opposite. How would he feel? I think a lot of people never think of Yah that way, because we're so stuck on self, flesh, that we never focus on how he must feel to create everything. And everything goes up against him. Now, when I say everything that you see, go out and look out your window. Everything was created by him. And everything denies him. You see? Do you see why Yeshua HaMashiach had to come and die just to redeem many back to where they begun in him. And we don't look at him nor feel him. And that's what Sister Deborah was doing today, which I'm real bad at it, really bad at it. I could feel him. You know, when I say feel him, when I was thinking about how humble, I had to laugh to keep from crying. Because in the midst of Noah and the ark, he was humble while all those people were dying, thinking that they gonna gain a breath, or they gonna outbeat the water, every creature, everything. But yet he stood humble. He didn't sway left with pity. He didn't sway right with mercy. He didn't go up with grace. He just sat humble. I think of how many of our nation, let me not say our, because the more and more Yah is revealing things, how a people were hung on trees and tortured live, and it's just the things that this Western world have done to a nation of people, and how in the midst of it, nothing was as great in Yah to where his humbleness was broken. He saw it, y'all. He's seen it before he saw it. He's seen it before the foundation of the world. He saw it when it took place. But yet, both ways didn't move his humbleness in the midst of it. And if you can't see that, that's what you call strong power, strong order, strong ruler, control. See, these are the sort of things we should look at and see who we're really dealing with, so we won't be stepping up against in our ways, in our attitude, in our hate, in the way we're taking lives, the way we sit back and watch those take lives and kill, steal, and hate, and teach you day and night, and you sit at the table like a full meal deal that you're getting fed. Yes, you are getting fed. I'm going to be honest. Your flesh is getting all its dark meat as possible. And then they run on the other end, want to hear what Yah has to say. And they don't even understand. This same one that I'm talking about that's humble, he see you, he ain't going to say a word to you. He's still humble. So if you see him as humble as he was when Noah in the ark, when the world, he ended the world, and how humble he was doing all those things throughout the beginning to the end to where we at today, how humble he has been in the midst of it all. Because all of it is connected to what he already seen, what he has predestined, what he has ordained, what he had foreknew. Okay? So him being humble, he had every right to be. And he don't answer to nobody. He don't need to. So when we're seeing these issues that's taking place, and you know that here it is, your men are sagging, walking down the street with their hands in their pants. There are men are turning homosexual so they can be like women. Our men are drinking and drugging like crazy. Our men are battering their women and killing their daughters and their wives and their mothers and their fathers and their brothers. And what do? We stand around and act as if it's not even happening. But yet we think that the Most High going to step in and intervene. No, he is not going to do it. So when them days come up on us and our family and come so close to it enter into our door, know this. Yah is not going to move. He didn't move then. And he ain't going to move now. And that's what a lot of them are feeding people. That y'all going to jump up and throw down for you. Y'all see. Y'all seen. You see? He knows what he got set in him. Nothing that's going to take place is going to move him. And yes, he's high and low. He's all power, all control, but yet he's all humbleness within himself. He don't have to move at nothing because everything has been ordained and predestined according to his will, his pleasure, and his way. So he even said to me as I was laughing, because I thought about Noah and the ark and how all these thousands and thousands of people were drowning. It had to have been more than 1,000, millions. See, because when people look at Noah and the ark, they look at, okay, a city. This was bigger than the city. This was the whole world. People don't think to go that far. Okay? Everybody lost their lives. Everything that had any type of movement lost it that day. Those few days that it flooded. And the world was ended. And then he comes back and warn us it's going to be like the days of Noah. And we walk around as if when Babylon falling, he going to take us somewhere else. Baby, wake up. You where you going to go, whether you believe it or not. If you want more meals of darkness to your flesh, go to YouTube, Facebook, YouTube, Patriots, and listen to all them that's feeding you for your flesh so that your flesh can endure. But know this. We are in that day. Now, what we're looking for right now, that hour. In that hour is what we're waiting for. But we're in that day, awaiting that hour. You see? And a lot of things that you've been fed on all these plates, on these platforms, you're going to realize you've been poisoned when you thought you had the full meal deal and the best deal going. Because his humbleness of who he is not going to buckle for you and nobody else. Nobody. And I was listening to a revelation regarding that which he's going to send down from the heavens to go into the water, the sea, the ocean, into the water, and it's going to destroy everything. This here country is not going to exist. But the way they're feeding people is, he's just going to come in and he's going to collect his and get us out and then do. Y'all better watch yourself. Because that same one that drowned everybody suffered all to be drowned in Noah's days when he ended the world. You better watch yourself. Because you don't understand. And you're not going to understand. But I believe anybody that will be living during that time, they're going to come to some understanding. But it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late because they're going to realize I've been deceived all this time. But that's why I say unto you, understand this. Everything that was is. Everything that is was. Everything that shall be has already been. It is finished in him. In who? He that sits high and low and still yet rest in humbleness. So I, Sister Deborah, say unto you, if he was humble then, don't think that he is not humble today. Because that's why you're seeing so many things happening. He placed his judgment in the midst. He suffered the beast's right hand to be stirring up in the judgment. And people walking around acting like it doesn't mean anything. I don't see it. See, and that's another trick. It's not a trick, but that is a warning. He says it's going to be like the days of Noah. Every male and female have forsaken what it was really like the days of Noah. See, they want to take he in the world. No, no, no. When he says it's going to be like the days of Noah, you got to go back and see what really took place during that time. And I think one of the number one things that males and females try to hide and put under a rock or to bury and put in the ground. When the daughters, the men, the daughters were being born to the men were taken as they pleased. That was the starter. I know it. They'll tell you giants and this. You ain't gonna come. Let me tell y'all something. The reason why you know that's a lie is because in this day, he ain't about to send no giants to be like the days of Noah. So we can kick that to the curb. Okay? We can kick that all the way to the curve, thinking that that was the day of Noah. No, no. Because as the New Testament, as they call it, it tells you marrying and giving in marriage. That's in one of the signs. That's what they were doing in the days of Noah when the men were having daughters were being born. They were actually messing with babies. When I say babies, they weren't at age. A lot of them won't tell you that. But when you listen to what is being said, that is spirit and truth, you can hear. If you're a student, if only you are a student of the Ruach, you can hear something else outside of what these men and women teach you on these devil platforms about the giants, because they make that the reason. The giants were going into the daughters. No, look at what you were doing. Start from the beginning. In Genesis, what was taking place at the beginning? They had daughters being what? Born. Daughters being born. Daughters being born. Hold up. They always had daughters being born to men. So what is wrong with these daughters that now are being born? I'm going to give you what he's giving me now. He said, if you read through the beginning to the end and stop right there and at that moment and then go on, finish reading your Bible, you will see he always talk about the sons that were being born to the fathers. What was going on with these daughters being born? You see, these daughters being born. You all don't get it. Let me get my Bible. Okay, now we have to go to Genesis chapter 6. And in Genesis chapter 6, you have to start there. The first verse would open you up to understand, hold up, something is taking place that caused the Most High Yah to destroy, to desire, not to desire, to plan to destroy everything that exists. Now, what went on in my father, Yahweh's mind, spiritual mind, y'all, that says, that's it, I'm going to end it all. What is going on? He pinpointed it, just like he did in the New Testament. It's going to be like the days of Noah. What was going on? Marrying and giving in marriage. But this is what you notice. When you go to the New Testament, you don't hear giants. You know why? It is a escape way out to make you think that that's what it's about. It is an escape way out so it can confuse what is spirit and truth. So how do we find our way back, Deborah, into what is spirit and truth, what is righteous? The way you find your way back, you have to believe him and what he said and sit up under the Ruach HaKodesh as a student at all times, ready to learn. But when we come before the Most High Yah Spirit, we want to come with this guy said this, and this man said this, these guys said this, and this man said this, my pastor said this, my priest said this, the bishop said this, the prophet said this, the prophetess said this, the Moor said this, watchman said this, seer said this. No. I'm telling you what I did. When he called me with the holy calling as a prophetess, he had to back me up against the wall and say, hold up, who told you to do that? You are a student of the Holy Spirit. All this that you have been taught, it drops. I'm your teacher. And when he told me that, that's all I needed. I dropped everything, you guys. I was writing verses and mastering these verses. You gonna make my teacher? All right. Drop this, drop that, drop. Couldn't nobody tell me. Because now the Holy Spirit, which is the Ruach HaKodesh, is my teacher. No. I'm not going to sit at your table and eat the food that you feed me. Only way I'm going to do that. Now, let me get something right now. Only way I'm going to sit at someone's table and eat what they're feeding me. I go back to what he says. Ye know, I prepare a table in the presence of your enemies. And I'm going to meet you there, Deborah. You sit there and you hear what them enemies are saying. I'm going to prepare a table in the presence of your enemies. And I'm going to anoint your head with oil. And your cup going to overflow. That's the only time I'm coming to a table and eat from those that's at the table. And that's the same way on YouTube and I don't go to no other ones, but on YouTube. If I get on here and I'm sitting here listening to somebody and I'm sitting here listening to their trash, I'm like, it's because he's preparing me in the presence of what is unrighteous. And I learned, you guys, I learned some of the deepest mysteries. Sitting at the table, listening to these stupidity and these men and these women teaching this stuff that doesn't make any sense. And what he say, there shall I cause your cup to overflow. That's because he's anointing you in the presence of your enemy. Somebody that's feeding you some trash. I'm going to anoint you with oil and your cup going to overflow. You're going to get something out of this, Deborah. So there are times when I might be in the presence of somebody that's teaching darkness. I would listen because it's always something that he's going to anoint me with coming out of it. You see what I'm saying? So I thank him for that. But he has said that he was going to be my teacher. And guess what, you all? I trust in that. I have been holding on to that for a long, long time. So that's why, Sister Deborah, whatever situation I get in, I go back to my teacher. Said, but wait a minute. I got a question. What is this they doing? I got another question. Why are they doing this? What should I think? How should I say? Or what should I do? Constantly in school. Constantly up under that Ruach HaKodesh. I believe it's all that Yeshua said it would be. I trust that. And so when Sister Deborah is telling you, and I shall rest her in, believe me, in that which is spirit and that which is truth. See, you can't find no rest in your flesh. But in that spirit, you can find rest there. And that's what I choose to do. In spite of all the issues going on, do I struggle? Do I go through? Yes. That doesn't erase that. It erase none of that. But when you are walking in spirit and truth, let me tell you, it's there to help you to endure. It's there for long suffering. These are spirits that's giving you the truth of the matter of what is before you. So as I was looking in Genesis chapter 6, I'm not going to make this out of a class. I mean, not a class, a message, a long drawn out. I just want to see and it says in Genesis chapter 6, and at the top it says, Noah find grace with Yah. So this is during the time that Noah, Yah approached Noah and things were said. Now listen to this. And it came to pass when men, males, not females, males, began to multiply on the face of the earth. Now, who are they talking about? Men. It began to be a lot of them. And daughters were born unto them. Now, what 1,000,000 times 1,000,000,000 has taught you all has been a lie. And that's why they can't get over this here virgins and or having many women and many wives and you can have. That there just told you that. Let's go over it again.